All right, Flexible here with MD. Just about an hour or so just before we go to the athletes press conference. Kevin, after all the years we talked about you potentially coming back, bro, the time is now. You're finally here. How do you feel?
I feel good. Not physically good, because of the diet and everything. We're 48 hours out, I guess, 24 hours, something like that. But I feel really blessed and fortunate to be able to walk on stage and do something that, I've just it's part of my life. You know what I mean? So,
And it's never been done. I don't think anyone's ever. Now, how long has it actually been since you've been on stage?
2003 was the last time I competed, man.
2003. So it's been over a decade. And you have the opportunity of coming back and standing on the greatest stage that it ever was for our sport.
We talked about that. You've actually kind of talked me through some of the moments and stuff when I was dealing with some things. But yeah, so trying to enjoy the process, I think, has been the most challenging part for me.
And not to get in our private conversations, but that's what I've been trying to keep in your head, because walking away from it, I understand that you weren't ready to walk away from it. Your business wasn't done. And then for the last decade, we've been talking about you potentially coming back, and all of us agreed from the 90s you would be the only person who we felt who could come back because you're health-wise and everything like that. And we all know that Kevin has never competed and trained all year round. He always, looked at a show, got ready for that show where we're constantly banging and doing all this damage and everything. But is it surreal for you that, you're actually getting ready to stand on stage, or you think it's going to finally hit you when you get there?
I think it's probably already hit me, going through the movements and going through the process and just seeing everything that's going on around me. You become very familiar with the territory, and your mind and your body just starts adapting to the things that you see around you. So you start, becoming that person again. Yeah.
So, when you say that person again, is that the same guy that was like sleeping in a room with no bed and guns all around him and, and all that stuff? Or is it different for you now? Do you look at things differently now?
It's not different, Flex. And I think if we can probably refer something to someone, I think if you ask Michael Jordan to dribble a ball, if he's 60, 50, or when he was in his prime, he's going to hold that ball and still dribble it the same way. Now, whether he can go up there and do that slam dunk from the foul line, right, that's another thing. But, the mind is still there, and things become familiar with you, and you go through that same process that you've always went through that worked for you. So I haven't changed anything.
Man, I got to tell you, I don't give a damn what anyone else thinks. I'm so excited that this time has came to fruition. And for me, personally, I think it's really what the sport it need. For the last couple of years, it's just been like a two-guy show or potentially a one-guy show. But now there's this talk, this new energy that has came back that you brought to the sport. And that's all because of you. How do you feel about that? You've been getting overwhelming. I've been seeing your Instagram blow up and all that stuff. You've been getting this overwhelming support. How does that feel to know that this many people actually are in love with you and want you to come back to the sport?
That's the part that is kind of challenging to wrap your head around, because when we were out there doing our thing, we were kind of blocked off. We could go to our little corner, whether you were in California or I was in Maryland, and just block the world out. Now it's one of the most challenging things to do, because if you block the world out, you're blocking your fans out. You block your fans out, they're not going to take that too well. So now it's a bit of a challenge to reveal yourself to the world. There's things about me that I have to put out that I feel a little uncomfortable with people knowing. Writing about how I prepare is one thing in a book, and they can actually read it. But when you start talking about it and seeing, wow, this is how he talks. He really does do this whole thing in the room by himself on the floor. So when you put that out on video, it becomes more powerful, for the people to really analyze it and really dig in. And then they start figuring out, what kind of person are you and stuff like that. So that's the challenging part. I think there's more peace to when we used to prepare for a show, because we had more control. You just had to worry about your friends, your family, where you train. and now it's gone. You know, people say, well, can I take a photo? You know, it's not just take a photo of you in the gym. It's can I put this photo out to the world?
Right.
You know, so it goes to Facebook, it goes to Instagram. So you just got to be very, very careful with where you are, what you say, what you do. You're kind of walking on eggshells, and just to try to protect your image and try to protect your family and everything. That's the most challenging part about it, because if you say one thing wrong, you know, that could just snowball into, you know, you being, you know, this bad person, you know.
You know what? I mean, trying to understand and talking to you about various different things, getting ready. That's one thing I never thought about, actually, because we come from an area where we're closed in. If you see us, it's through a magazine, and that's 3 months later. And now you're having to deal with, you have to be open, you have to live in a glass house. And if you don't, like you said, you're you're villainized if you're not. So how has that been? Because you're right, you know, back then we can stand our own low, you know, you're on one side of the world, I'm on the other side of the world, but the internet brings it immediately right now, and you have to give them something, you know, that's a difference. So I get it, it's a double-edged sword. It works for you because you can use that as far as management and marketing, but for us who like to be concealed and not bothered, you have to deal with that. So how's that been getting ready for a show? Because that's normally not you, that's not me back when I competed. So how's that been dealing with that?
It's you know, I just keep my focus on God, you know what I mean, and the purpose and the reason why I'm doing it is greater than me. I'm not a selfish person. I don't like to make myself feel or make anybody feel lower than I am, you know. So you just got to be careful with and make sure that you put yourself out there, you know, in a professional manner that's going to represent the sport. And you know, our era when we came along, it was just different. You know, Joe Weider, you know, held us to higher standards than what you see these athletes doing today. And I think that's what really carried us to the point where we are now. That was just a great era of the 90s, you know, and we were just so competitive because no matter where you were handling your business. You know, you weren't dealing with, you know, anything other than your job, bodybuilding. Now it's, you know, it's just a different time, different era, and people, morals, and things change. So bringing back the 90s and what era, you know, it's like I'm representing you, I'm representing Sean, I'm representing Dorian Yates' hard work, I'm representing every moment that I've been on that stage of your personality, dealing with you, dealing with Dorian, dealing with Ronnie. All this is coming into effect for my preparation for the show, and people don't realize that. You know, it's not about Kevin. This is about things that I've learned, things that I know, the experiences from Flex, the things that you've taught me, and just doing battle with Ronnie and Dorian on stage, just everything. Yeah. You go into these moments and you prepare that for this presentation coming up. So when I walk into a room where I see these guys doing things, it's a night and day difference. You know what I mean? Right. I don't question anything if I'm doing something wrong, which I know I'm not doing anything wrong. It's just a little bit challenging to go through the moments without being chastised. You
know, you said something, and it's true. There's always been this talk about the 90s versus now, right? Mm-hmm. And you're bringing the look that we did from the 90s. So do you feel the weight and the pressure of carrying all of us, you know, because it's opinionated, but a lot of people consider the 90s one of the hottest eras and the heaviest, you know, as far as weight, as far as us great guys competing. So do you feel the pressure of bringing that to the stage where it's you bringing the 90s and trying to prove to them a statement that, hey, the 90s were better, I'm here to prove that? Or is this just something that, you know what, you know, you're winning no matter what you do?
I think it's a little bit of both, you know, because when you call me and you reach out to me, you say, look, man, I'm here for you. You know, it's deeper than that. I'm here for you. It's almost like, you know, hey, you know, if I could get up on that stage and do it, I would be doing it, you know, or I would be doing it right next to you. So for that right there, yeah, it's a lot of responsibility, you know. Think about Ronnie Coleman and what he stood for. Ronnie had a lot to do with me being Kevin Levrone, right, you know, because he raised that bar so high, and we worked and we trained. So when I think about him, and you see Ronnie's drive and everything, he still haven't given up, you know. So when I go to the gym and I had to represent all of that, So it's battle of the era. So that's a lot of responsibility. But I know that just with God called me to do this. He allowed me to be the one that step up to the plate and do this. And I'm just going to have to find the strength to walk out, no matter what the naysayers say, and believe that that was one of the greatest eras. It created us for a purpose and for a reason, and maybe a greater reason than what I know about. But I'm getting ready to find out what it is Saturday night.
Are you ready? Because this is my opinion. You're probably going to get the greatest onslaught of attention in a matter of 30 minutes at the press conference because you're the talk. You're the new kid coming back to the block and everything like that. Are you ready for the onslaught and the attention that you're about to receive? And how do you feel about that?
I feel good about it. I feel like almost the sport has called me to be a leader, amongst other men, and to be able to be responsible and to walk into a room and just to have leadership. I'm not there to fight. I'm there to set an example of what this sport was built on: integrity, dignity, and pride, and what Ben and Joe Weider set us up to do. This is a business, and we represent it, and we got to represent it well. We was taught well from them. There was great opportunities. So I just want to walk in there to press conference and address those answers that way.
Right. I feel you.
Yeah.
You know what? I can't wait. I can't wait to witness. I mean, you're probably the one that I hated the most being on stage with because you're so competitive as far as everything. Because I tried to be a perfectionist, but you were right there with me, whether you stood a little bit before me, and it's before me hitting the poses and stuff like that. You hitting poses before me and then holding them afterwards, and then I'm walking off stage because I'm exhausted and you walk back there. I'm so excited to see you bring that back to the stage, that type of professionalism and everything like that. I can't wait. How do you feel, or have you thought about, what Kevin is going to show up on stage and how the guys are going to react to you? How are you going to interact with them? Are you going to try to control the stage as you does before, or do you just think you're going to just black out and Kevin's here, Kevin's going to do what he has to do, and there's no thought press about it?
Yeah, what I've done was pretty much analyze the competitors already. I think about my package and how I'm going to go out and represent it next to whoever I'm standing to. It's almost like you got to play that game of chess. For me, that's how deep it goes.
Yeah.
It even goes a little deeper than that. I react off of my environment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, I already know their personalities. So
They don't know yours.
yeah. So whatever they do,
Right.
I already know what I need to do to be in the moment, and I think that's going to come across real truthful, is being in the moment and not really planning, because you can plan one thing, but somebody will do something else, but you need to know that personality of that person before they move so that you can counteract on it. And I think that's something about the sport that we're missing today.
Yeah.
That's not there. So I think that part is my strength. We go out doing prejudge, and I think I certainly know that that's a very comfortable position for me to be in. So we'll see what happens.
Listen, I want to give the floor to you. You can talk to your fans, your support system, and everybody you have, and give your last words.
Well, I just want to say that if you believe whatever you believe, you can achieve. Within God's boundaries. Of doing things correct and giving him first the honor, and to realize that what he's the creator, and as long as you have him in the center of your life, there's miracles can happen. So on that note, I just want to say thanks to my support team, Wellness, for 100% believing in me from day one when people doubted me. They were there. I want to say the Levrone Signature Series, my company, who supported me since day one. And I want to say another thing, Gorilla Wear. You guys been there rocking the attire for me. It's been pretty awesome. Right. All the guys back at the gym, XL Fitness. Of course, my training partner, Scott Rayner. Him and I have been together since day one, and all my friends, my family, beautiful family here now. And just a lot, man. Steve Blackman, Muscle Development. We can go on down the line. Robin Chang, Jim Mannion for allowing me to have this opportunity to go out and represent this sport and what I know and give this gift to the world, you know, because it's something that they need to experience as well, the deepness of who we are as athletes. One of the greatest sports in the world is bodybuilding. I believe it's a healthy sport, and you know, I'm just here to show the world that as long as you eat and you do the right thing, you know, miracles can happen. This is certainly healthy. If I'm forgetting anyone out there, please forgive me. I'm on very low carbs right now, and I think that's probably about it, man.
Man, you guys are about to bear witness something that's never happened in the history of our sport before. Bone Crusher, the Maryland Muscle Machine, Kevin Levrone, and just T-minus hours from being on stage, the press conference and everything. It's been truly an honor.
Thanks,
standing on stage with you all these years and being friends from the beginning to end. I mean, we can go into so many deep, conversations of me and you and building our friendship from me being, in foreign countries. With you standing by my side for us doing battling for years and everything like that. I just can't wait. I'm an extreme fan of the sport. I'm a believer in the 90s, and man, I can't wait. I'm just all smiles. I can't stop smiling just thinking about what people about the witness that I've already known and people known from the 90s. From Muscle Development, Flex Wheeler, we're out of here.